Hi folks, question we're going to do today is a question based on the topic on perspective, and it is actually a question from the old Leaving Cert technical drawing paper from 1998. Okay, some of these questions are quite good because they just get us into the habit of obviously good practice in this topic on perspective. So first of all, as always, going to read the question. So it says, Figure 1 shows the plan and elevation of an entrance gateway. Draw the given plan and make a perspective drawing of the entrance gateway when the position of the spectator, so this is important here, spectator is 8 meters from the corner A, the picture plane is touching the corner A is right here, and the horizon line is 8.5 meters above the ground line. Okay, so in relation to all of that, what we know is the corner A is from this point here. So we always have to draw the plan view when we're actually doing the drawing, and obviously we can take all our heights then from the elevation, which is the information is given to us on the sheet. Now, first of all, our scale is 1:100. What that means is 1 millimeter on my sheet, OS, equates to 100 millimeters in reality, IR. So basically what that means is for every 6 meters, okay, so if I just take this little height for this section here, 6 meters equates to 6,000 millimeters. So if I was to actually apply that into my scale, okay, so 6,000 millimeters, okay, in reality, if I was to divide that by my scale, which would be 100, so 6,000 divided by 100, take off the 0, that means I'm going to get 60. 6,000 divided by 100, I will get 60. Okay, so that means the height of this section here is 60 millimeters. That means I can essentially just add on a 0 onto these and I get the right number. So 3 meters will be 30, 30, then I've got 40 here, 25, 50, 25, 40, I'd have 35 here and 35 here. Okay, so there's all my heights done. Just in relation to my widths, okay, and I suppose lengths, I have the lengths done, sorry, my widths. This one would be 70, then I'd have 15, 25, and 30. Okay, so that's kind of how I would actually use those measurements then to start off by drawing the plan. And we can see then from corner A, the spectator is located at an angle that is 65 degrees away from corner A, and it's going to be a distance of 8 meters, which is going to essentially be 80 millimeters. Okay, picture plane is touching corner A. The horizon line is going to be 85 millimeters above the ground line. Okay, so that's the information I'm going to use. Right, so if I just come to the sheet now, okay, you can see here I've got my plan view already done. It's very important based on kind of where the spectator is. It's kind of going off to the left of obviously the drawing. You can see it's an A3 sheet here, quite a big enough plan view. So I've positioned it kind of, I started to close it in a little bit from the right hand side of my page. Okay, and then from corner A, I started off by doing a line at 65 degrees. So I put it on corner A, measured up to an angle of 65 degrees right there, and then using that was my mark right there, and then from that mark through corner A, I extended the line down, and then from that line then I measured 80 millimeters there. Okay, so that's kind of how I did the drawing, and obviously using the measurements to draw the plan view. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to start setting up the actual drawing. So as always with perspective drawing, you're going to get the cone of vision, which goes from the spectator to the extreme most left point and right point of the object. And then what I want to do with that cone of vision is get the middle of that, so I'm going to use my compass here to bisect that angle. That will give me what's known as the line of sight. Okay, now for my line of sight, that's going to be really helpful to me because perpendicular to my line of sight, I'm just going to put that line in there nice and heavy now. Okay, I'll write in L, I'll actually write it in. And perpendicular to the line of sight is going to be my picture plane. Okay, so this kind of really helps us at the start of the question because it kind of dictates where the picture plane, ground line, horizon line are all going to be. So what I usually do, I put the long edge of the 45 degree set square on it like this, the other set square like that, and then swivel it about. Okay, move it up until I might have to move the visualizer ever so slightly. There we go. Now I'm going to set up my picture plane. So that there is my picture plane. And at this point, I'm going to get set up now for my vanishing points before I rotate my sheet. So, faces are running in this direction and this direction. So, from the spectator, go parallel to the direction of the faces, one going vertically, one going horizontally. That's going to help me locate my vanishing points on my horizon line. Now, what I usually do in class is I get the guys to take off their masking tape or whatever it is they're sticking down their sheet with. Okay, taking off all 4 corners. Okay, or if you're using clips, remove the clips. Rotate your sheet in such a way, move this now a little bit, so that your T-square is in line with your picture plane. Just saves us doing a lot of sliding set squares later on. When you're happy with the setup, once again, stick down the masking tape so that your sheet is once again secure. Okay, so there I have that. Right, next stage I have to do, I have to set up my horizon line and my ground line. The line I usually start off with will be my ground line. So I'm going to come down here now. Might go out of the screen there just for a second, but you'll get the idea anyway because we won't actually see this back corner here. So I'm just going to pull it down here, just about there. Okay, so I usually set up my ground line a little bit below my spectator. So I'm going to set up a ground line there. So I'll call that ground line. And then my horizon line, if we refer to the sheet, the horizon line is 85 millimeters above the ground line. So from the ground line, I'm going to measure up 85. My horizon line is usually a light line. So my construction lines today, I'm going to use a red pen. That's my horizon line. And then to find on the horizon line will be my vanishing points, VP1 and VP2. So there we have it. There is VP1 and VP2. Okay, so that's that set up there. I'll write in horizon line there. Now, what I want to do is I want to start by building the structure. Okay, so first of all, corner A is touching the pitch plane, so I'm going to bring that one straight down here. Very important there with corner A, I'm going to label it here. Now, because corner A is touching the pitch plane, I can take that and the true heights off of that. Now, before I actually even get onto that, I'm actually just going to very quickly do a rough sketch of what this looks like. So look, we've got a plan here, we've got the elevation here. It's kind of like, to me it looks like an old castle or something like that, where I've kind of got these two maybe towers at the left and the right hand side, and maybe there's the gateway of obviously where the door would open on the castle, okay? So those towers you can see here are kind of made up of a rectangular block. So if I just do a quick sketch there, there's that rectangular block, comes up to a point then, so that'll go up something like that. That's what I'd imagine maybe that one would look like there. Now, what's in line with this is actually the other one at the opposite side, okay? Where the actual gateway is, it's in a little bit from it, okay? So if you imagine there, just ever so lightly, I'll just put that in. Keep it all the same height. It's a good little sketching exercise. Now, that one in there, probably went a little bit high. And once again, if I imagine where it would be, something like that. Okay, so that's if you imagine the two towers. Okay. Now I'm not heavying in this section here just yet. The reason being is because I know there's a section that it has to fit inside. So look, you can see there's a little section in here where it steps in a bit. So look, I'm going to mark it in on this one. I'm going to mark it into about there. Then it goes up to a certain height, not the whole way, so it goes up to about there. Then it's going to go, it goes back a little bit to about there. Okay, then that one here is going to go across the whole way. And it'll eventually meet this face inside here somewhere. Okay, likewise with this one, come all the way down. But obviously there's an opening in the door, so if you imagine the opening is maybe something like that. And then obviously we've got this top section here, which go across like this, and then down. And as you can see now, that is why I didn't heavy in this little section here. And maybe at the door then we'd have something like that as well. Okay, and obviously there is edges running inside here making up the inside of that door, but we can't put those in because we don't see them. Okay, so that's kind of the structure I have to get based on the 2D drawings. So what I want to do first of all is I want to build up this first tower here. Okay, and have I got the height of this where corner A is touching? Yes, I do. The height of that is from here up to here. Actually, sorry. Yeah, it is. Sorry, it's over here. It's 60 plus 30, which would be 90. Okay, and then it's going to be added on another 30 when we figure out maybe this little kind of tower part in at the end. But I'm going to start off by building that block. Then I'm going to build this block over here as well at the same time. Okay, so starting off with that. So I'm going to take the height of 90 millimeters from corner A. So from corner A, I'm going to measure, because it's touching the pitch plane, I can take it as a true height. I'm going to measure up 90. Okay. Now that edge right there, I can heavy in straight away. Okay, that's that first edge. Before I continue on the rest of the drawing, I'm actually going to bring down a lot of my points to the spectator. So this one and this one has been brought down. I'm going to also bring down this one. I'm going to bring down the topmost point of the tower. That one I won't see. I'll need this one. This one. That's the hidden detail for the door. So it's quite good to have this done beforehand because it'll save you time looking for all of these things later on. Need that one probably. I'm not sure if I'll need it. I'll bring it down anyway. And one more, the topmost point in the tower. And as far as I'm aware, I think that's all the ones I'm going to use. Okay, so I'm going to start off building that tower. Now this face is running in this direction, and you can see if you follow it, it's going to be in line with this face over here. Okay, so I'm going to start building those. So from corner A, I'm going to vanish that. That face is running in this direction, so it's going to vanish over to VP2. As will the height, which was 90 millimeters. Okay, now somewhere along those lines, I'm just after vanishing there to VP2. Let's put them in a little bit heavier. Okay, somewhere along those lines is going to be this point, and this point. So all of those points, remember previously I brought every one of them down to hit the spectator, or to the spectator, but I stopped them at the picture plane just to keep my drawing neat and tidy. Where it hits the picture plane, bring it down. There's the other one. Bring it down. And then this one over here, down. So straight away there, I can actually heavy in part of the drawing. Just be careful of your neatness and accuracy. Obviously I'm using a pen here. Okay, so there's that kind of front face done there, guys. Now what we want to do is we want to move on to the side faces. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to build the blocks first and then I'll do the section in between. So this side face is running in this direction, as is this one. So I'm going to vanish those. They're going in this direction to VP1. This one will vanish to VP1. Likewise with this one over here. And this one. My pen is working. There we go. Okay, now I want to find where that face ends. So that face is going to end where this edge is seen from the spectator back here, but where it hits the picture plane, drop it down. And that face ends right there. Okay. So I'll heavy that in and this in. Now I'm going to do the exact same with this face here. I might see it through the door, you see. So it hits there. So you can see where it ends back up here, because that face is running in this direction. Sorry, I'll just bring it up a little bit so you can see it a bit better. So that face is running in this direction. So that's where it finishes at the back. Come down here, bring it down. Okay, and that's where my spectator would see it. Now I'm not going to heavy it in, I'm just going to lightly darken it with my black pen. I'm not going to fully darken it just yet. Okay, because obviously there's going to be a bit of that is going to be obscured, I'd imagine, up around here. So with that section done, I'm going to leave the tower bits till the very, very end. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to work on the door. Okay, so, or sorry, the kind of opening inside here, if you remember this part inside here. So really all it is to do with that part is, I suppose, this face here. And it obviously has the door opening. Okay, so what we're going to actually have to use for that is, that face is all on one surface, okay? And it's obviously got various heights. It's obviously on the ground, then it goes up a height here, and then a height up to the top of the actual point of the door. So all of those heights I want to do using a height line. So all that face there is here. I can take all of those points, they all come, I could take height lines out in this direction if I wanted, but it makes sense because the face is running here with all of them on it, to run the height line down in this direction. So from that face there, I'm going to extend it down here. That line there is a height line. I'm going to write that in. I have to bring it down to the picture plane because it's only when it's touching the picture plane that I can take the true height off of it, then vanish it back to find where it is obviously behind the picture plane. So where that height line hits the picture plane, I'll now extend that down until it hits my ground line. Okay, sometimes when I'm doing an exam, I might mark it with an X there and there, just to let the examiner know that I've used the height line. Or alternatively, you could write it in as well. Okay, the examiner probably will know because they'll have checked that. But if you want, I usually put a little mark in it to let it know it's important. Now, on that line there, what I want to do is, somewhere along that, okay, if you imagine that's on the ground here, okay, I could actually find this one here, but I can vanish that X all the way back as far as BP2. And essentially what that is somewhere all along that line is going to be this face there. If I was to bring this one down, you can see here, and it should hit along this face somewhere, I guarantee you it should hit right there at that point. So if I was to bring it down, it's a good test of your accuracy. Bring it down, hopefully. Yeah, I'm probably out by about maybe half a mil there, but I'm pretty happy with that. So I can heavy in this little bit here now. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to get the overall shape of that structure before I put in the door. Okay, so it's obviously going to be going in there like that, and there's going to be a door going in here. But I want to get the overall height of it. So what is the overall height of this structure here, from here up to here? The height is 35 plus 35, which is 70. So on the X line, I'm going to measure up 70 millimeters. Okay, that little mark there, the face is running in this direction, so it's going to vanish over to VP2. And now I can heavy in this portion and this portion. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to get, before I get onto the door, this top surface right here. So to get that top surface, that's running in this direction, so it's going to, from here, it's going to vanish to VP1. And then to find where that finishes, if I follow this point down here, there we go. And from VP2 then, vanish through that point because the face is going in this direction. There we go. Now that's helpful to me because I can now decide, okay, yes, I can heavy in this and heavy in this. So I will see those. Okay, now the next bit we have to heavy in is obviously the section for the door. So where does the door begin? Well, the outside parts of the door are here, and the topmost point where the triangular part is up here. So I'm going to bring down those 3 lines. This one. I'll actually bring down this one first before I bring down the middle one. Okay, and just to kind of get us started, I'm going to heavy in those just a little bit to give the idea of where the door is going to open to. Okay, now the problem is I need the height of those sections. So if you actually look here, the height is given to us on the sheet, it's up 35 millimeters, and then for this part of the actual, the door opening, it's up 60. So 35 and 60 are my 2 measurements. So on the X height line, going to measure 35 and 60. At the 35, vanish it over to VP2 and vanish to this one to VP2. Now that's going to tell me how high the door goes up on the first one, the 35 line. And to find the actual point in here along the 60 line, I just have to bring this one down. So remember, that's where it is. There it is. It is right there. You can now connect that up to there and that up to there. Okay, that is the front face. I obviously have to finish the inside part of it. So to finish the inside part, this point here will vanish over to VP1. And this one will vanish to VP1. Because they're the only two I'll see. But I need to find the actual part where it ends. That's actually going to end right about here. Okay, so to end that, to actually find that, I actually need to bring this guy down to my spectator. Stop it at the picture plane. Okay, bring it down a bit further actually, sorry. And there we go. Now, I'm going to heavy this in. Heavy this in. And heavy this in. I've got that face done inside there, but obviously you imagine, like this one goes up at the front, this one has to move up with it as well. Now, you might think it's parallel to it, but in perspective, it might not always work out that way. So the point I actually want to find is here. So if that point is there, bring it down to your spectator, where it hits the picture plane, it has to be somewhere down along there, and to find the exact point, I can vanish this one back to VP1. And you can see it actually goes through right here. So at that point there, that's the one I would actually use to connect it up. I'll just join it like that. Okay, so that's that bit of it done. Okay, we have a bit of detail inside and there. Now the last bit we have to do is we have to find this point and this point. So the easiest way to do that is actually take another height line. So from this one and this one, I'm going to connect the lines because they're actually in line with each other. So the last one was it. The last one was X. I'll do this one. I'll call it Y. Okay, so there's another height line. And now what I need to do is I need to take the height for those individual points. So they are up a height of 60 plus 30 plus 30, which will be 120. So on this line here, I'm now going to mark up 120 millimeters. So 120 up to there. Now that height line was running in this direction, so it's going to vanish from that point to VP2. Somewhere along that, okay, is going to be this point and this point. So let's find those. Well, where I brought them down previously, this will be this one. So that's that one there. And then to find the other one, who's coming down here like this, and that's that one. Now every one of them, that point, just by finding that point, connects to all the four corners, but obviously I can't see all four corners, so I'll just connect it up to the ones I can see. So that's one there, here, and here. So that's that one done. Likewise with this one here, one here, here, and here. Okay, so as you can see there, folks, that's actually the perspective of the actual object completed there. Now I'll just bring it down a little bit further so you can see it there fully. That's the perspective of the object completed. I started off by building the kind of two tower parts first, then I focused on this little midsection. Oh, last little bit, just realized, forgot to do this. So there was a little bit of a portion where I have to heavy in that little bit there. Now this line here should be obviously not visible. Okay, I kind of just make the frame at the start of my explanation. I kind of put that in a little bit darker, but you can see there's a difference between the weight of this line and the weight of this line. Likewise in here. Okay, but starting with the two towers, then obviously I focused on the main section here with a little bit of detail on the door. Very important, that little bit there. Okay, don't just guess that and assume that it's parallel. It may not be. And it obviously vanished back over here. and then obviously we got this side face, and then the 2 tower bits. And we could see here, obviously, the use of height lines and their importance. Okay, so that question, guys, was the 1998 Leaving Cert DCG question. I hope you found that helpful. Okay.